This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa, using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix it, clean it, and customize it. McDonald Boneyard of Keota, Iowa, for all your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. For great food, it's your choice. Your Choice Family Restaurant of Wayland, Iowa. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Come to our cruise-ins this summer on the second Tuesday of the month, June through September. Girling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snowblowers. B&B Propane and the family of Jet Stops. Dutch Market and Coffee Talk of Washington, Iowa. Dutch Market can handle all of your grocery needs. They even have a conference room you can use for free. Coffee Talk's drive-thru is open and ready to serve you coffee, energy drinks, sandwiches, baked goods, and ice cream. They all present you the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Here's the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, John Bain.
Thank you, announcer Cody Roy, for your golden pipes and wonderful introduction. Cody's from NewEnglandDukes.com. Today is Tuesday, April 29th, and I am inside the Henry County Courthouse in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. The Henry County Board of Supervisors held their second of three public hearings today on the Alternative Energy Planning and Zoning. Several folks from the community spoke up today, several against, one for wind turbines. And without further ado, as they say in the biz, I like to say that, as they say in the biz, let's get to the meeting.
Okay, it's now 9 o'clock. All rise, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our agenda is one item today. That is our second public hearing of alternative wind energy. Motion to go into public hearing.
Make a motion to go into public hearing. I'll second.
And there is a second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? None. Steve, will you take that and just start reading the names, please? First person you'd like to speak, please. And we'll go over it. 3 minutes is the time frame that you have, and please be courteous to everybody. So no other speakers at that time.
Okay, this first one's really hard to read, but it looks like it says Bob.
It's just a B and a check mark, isn't it? Yeah, okay, so. Again, commend you guys for your patience and all the work you've been doing on this project. It's interesting, very interesting. 20 years ago, we thought wind energy was great. Best thing it was since sliced bread. But 20 years later, with all the research and everything we've done with it, and now they're finally admitting there's infrasound. More stuff keeps coming available as the studies go. I'm glad you guys are really looking at this very hard. Number one, not just for health-wise, but number two, for ag-related. A wind farm is not farming. It's commercial. And we need to preserve our ag ground for what it's intended for. If you destroy your land, you destroy your children's future. I yield the rest of my time to Melanie.
Next name on the list is Brian Messer.
Okay. So I was at a Board of Health meeting earlier this year, I believe it was in January, where Mr. Dietrich was, I'll say politely, asking the board for a resolution on the wind turbines being proposed in Henry County, saying that was something that he wanted. And then provided a document from Clinton County Board of Health saying that well-credentialed people have come up with this document. And What you have is Mary Malcolm, who's a doctor of osteopathic medicine. You have a vice chair who not credentialed, Jean Morgan, who's an RN, and then Chelsea Sullins, who's a doctor of physical therapy, and then Jenna Lovas, who's not credentialed. So I thought that was interesting. Those are all credentialed as a doctor of physical therapy. That would also be me. Mr. Dietrich, I'd be happy to answer questions in the future, should you have any. I want to go through the Department of Public Health statement from the state of Ohio, which I'm sure you probably have, but in case you don't, I'm going to read it, and then when I'm done, I will provide you a copy of it. In lieu of time, I don't have time to go through all of it, so I'm going to read some of the summaries that they came up with in 2022, so not very long ago. Information to date does not indicate a public health burden from low-frequency noise and infrasound generated by wind turbines. Peer-reviewed scientific literature indicates that infrasound near wind turbines does not exceed audible thresholds. Infrasound and low-frequency noise from wind turbines do not present unique health risks to nearby residents. Available evidence shows that infrasound levels near wind turbines do not impact the vestibular system. There is very little to no evidence linking infrasound to low-frequency noise from wind turbines with vibroacoustic disease, as the levels of sound associated with these effects in the laboratory are several orders of magnitude higher than what has been measured in the field in the vicinity of operating wind turbines. That is one on their noise conclusion. Information to date does not include a public health burden from shadow flicker caused by wind turbines relating to epilepsy, as it doesn't come close to turning at a frequency to bring on epilepsy from photosensitive patients. However, this doesn't say that, but however, frequencies that do are from ceiling fans, interestingly enough, but it doesn't say that in here. Information to date does not indicate a public health burden from electromagnetic fields generated by any part of wind turbine or wind farm. So overall, there is no significant body of peer-reviewed scientific evidence that clearly demonstrates a direct link between adverse physical effects and exposures to noise, audible, low frequency, noise, or infrasound. Visual.
Okay, Brian, 3 minutes, thank
Oh,
you.
very good, thank you.
Next is Diana Burden.
As far as what Mr. Messer has talked about, there are studies that do show that the turbines have an increased amount of noise and it affects people. I also know that in the hospitals, there's many people that with their pacemakers and electronics, which the turbines are, can be affected. And each individual has different effects upon them. And there are some children with autism or special needs terminology that the noise is very hard and difficult for them. So I also will point out the turbines, there is no MDS studies about their chemicals that they put in. They've never provided anything like that, nor a disaster plan of what would happen if there was a fire or if there was something that high winds that broke them down. And that's a very disturbing thing, because if your local fire department can't take care of them because they're 650 feet above the ground, that doesn't seem to be a very safe system. And I do appreciate, Supervisor Dietrich, that you did contact the public health, because that was one of the people that were supposed to have been in contact and had information, because they're supposed to be the boss, my words, over things. So thank you for doing that, and also for the research, because it seems like, as Bob said, that turbines, they're not what they were supposed to be. And 20 years ago, we had a windmill that was metal, and it didn't have a whole bunch of stuff in the ground that you had to take out. And a windmill is far more productive for us than what a turbine would be. So please continue to do your research and don't just take what somebody tells you, because there's different forms of credentialing. Thank you.
Next is Melanie Patton.
I sent you guys an email yesterday about a few clerical things. There was also the question I brought up last week about the road use agreement, so that was in the email as well. Last week I talked about fire suppression and gave you a page from firetrace.com. I've also found some others, which I'm gonna give you these after the meeting. This one is talking about the fire suppression system, so I feel like we need to have that included in the ordinance as well. This one is again from Firetrace. It talks about 18 months is the time it can take to recommission the total loss of a turbine due to fire. It also talks about 3.4 million up is the total loss of a wind turbine due to fire, and that's proportional depending on the size of the turbine. And then the odds of a turbine having a fire in its lifespan is 1 in 100. So that's one example. This other article is from Engineering Fire Protection, and it talks about the average warranty on a turbine is only for 2 to 5 years. I don't know what the warranty is on the ones that were proposed here, and that fire is the second leading cause of catastrophic accidents. And the use of automatic fire suppression systems has emerged as a critical strategy for mitigating wind turbine fires. They release fire suppressants. There's a variety of types they use, and of course that could possibly be up to the company what they chose, but it said that most of them are so safe that even if a fire broke out while someone was in the turbine, like working on it, it would be safe for the people in there. So that's good news, I guess. I did also look at the lightning protection section, and we added some wording to that, which is 6211-01, which is where it talks about applying. And so I'll give you guys a copy of this. Basically, you could add one sentence to add the fire detection and suppression system. And then again, under the 6211-4, which is actually the wind section, and they're having another part in place about following the NFPA, which is the National Fire Protection Association. They actually have recommendations for safety and fire suppression, and we ordered there's like a manual for that, so hopefully we'll have that manual pretty soon to share with you. So fire suppression is very important. And then I also wanted to address the fact of depending on what your timing is for putting this ordinance into place, is I mentioned it last week, is that we need to have something in place to look at solar. And so we looked at the moratorium that you have in place, and if that moratorium is to end, then I would suggest that there be a solar moratorium put into place, and that you charge the Planning and Zoning Commission with the same process that they've been through on this to then do solar. So again, it's basically changing a few words in the moratorium wording to make that happen. As far as the health concerns, I want to reiterate, which I've brought up before, Brown County, Wisconsin Health Department, the Madison County Health Department. I just recently read another report from St. Clair, Michigan, their health department. The one that Bob was referring to is in Kansas. They've just now admitted, after the company has been pushed to finally say that they do realize that there's an infrasound problem, so now they are doing more studies on it. So I believe that infrasound is one of those things, kind of like Teflon and asbestos and things like that, that until it is affecting people, it's easy to say that it does not exist. But when people are impacted by it, there's one lady in particular in Kansas that I've been speaking with, and her neighbors have been impacted by it and have health conditions. So to say it doesn't exist when people are experiencing it is kind of, in my opinion, rude to the people that are experiencing it. I know there can be a lot of different reasons, but I believe there needs to be more study before we conclude that it does not exist. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next name is Bill Crawford.
Thank you, gentlemen. I think this map tells a story. To my knowledge, the colors have not been added to. We could add to the gray daily. This has not been updated in over a year on the original adoption of the moratorium. This clearly is a majority against. The P&Z Commission was referred to in comments last Tuesday night as a P&Z board. They are a commission. They're appointed. They weren't taken out of a random drawing. They're picked because they're respected for their wisdom, their sound judgment, and their high ethical standards. So I'd like it known, and obviously that was unanimous. That tells me it's a mandate. Also, there's waivers. There's talk of discrimination. There's waivers. Go get waivers. From this, it's grayed out. See how you do. So, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Lynn Humphreys.
Thank you. I'll just follow on Bill's point there. In the gray areas, a lot of those people, of course, are the ones that have been here attending the meetings, have been doing the research on their own time, have been putting in their own time. And I would like to point out that the company that is proposing this has not been in attendance, has not answered the questions. And again, not to belabor the point that I brought up last week, but to reiterate it, we attended 2 town hall meetings in which that company was to answer questions, and rightfully so, they aren't always able to answer all questions. So we asked, how would that be followed up? And there was to be follow-up to those questions, and we've yet to see that. My question is, how can that be when we have all this research that's been done? There's a lot of research out there and it's able to be found. And so you have to ask yourself that question as to why we haven't gotten those answers. Why not? These are people that are paid to do this and to know this information and to be experts in their fields. So I think that's one thing. And then again, to follow up on the safety manual, I was told after the meeting that perhaps one was provided, but I understand there was redacted information. Why in a safety manual would there be redacted information when we're talking the safety of our residents, when we're talking the safety of the workers, when we're talking the safety of our volunteer fire departments, our paid fire departments, if there are any out there, but most of them are volunteers. Why would it be redacted when that's critical information? So I think all those questions come into play, and back to Bill's point, that represents a lot of people. I'm one of them. I see many of those folks in this room, and we've put in a lot of time and effort, as you have, and we appreciate that, but we're here because we're concerned. We're concerned for the future. We're concerned that those that aren't here, that aren't representing that company here in this meeting, are gone in a short amount of time, and we're still here left with our children. So, thank you.
That's the last name on the list, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you all for attending. We will have another public meeting a week from today at 9 o'clock, same place. And so with that, I'll entertain a motion to go out of public hearing.
I make a motion to go out of public hearing.
Is there a second? We have a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. We are now at public hearing. Thank you all.
The next public hearing on this topic is Tuesday, May 6th. And what do you think about it? Go ahead and put in the comments your thoughts on the topic. And also, while you're doing that, make sure to give this episode a like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thanks for the folks that allow me to record these events and the folks that come on. And thanks to my sponsors, Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Your Choice Family Restaurant, Girling Repair, B&B Propane, and the family of Jet Stops, Dutch Market, and Coffee Talk. I'm your host, John Bain. Stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.